Yeah, this is the background. So you're there
Right.
now?
Hello there. Welcome to a Tyke farming in the Philippines. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ding-a-ling, dong, the bell. It's Sunday, 12 o'clock midday. Nobody in yet. Well, it's got one up here soon. That's Jean's got a phone. So we'll give it a minute or two. It's quite warm. I'll just turn the fan round, I think.
I will. You sit down there.
No, Jean's going to turn it round.
How about that?
Yeah, a bit more. A bit more. Yeah, that's better. Oh, we've got 4 in now.
Yeah, you have comments now.
Wandering Brit. Hello, Wandering Brit. Yeah, the farm's coming along slowly. Brian Paul. Hello, Jean and David. Hello, Brian. Good to see you here. Change of plans today, Sunday. I wasn't going to make a video. I am aware I make a video every day, and very often it's a repeat of the day before's. Inevitably, because we're doing the same stuff every day. So I wasn't going to make a video today, but things changed. So after this live stream, I'll make a video. But I'll talk about what changed here. We were going to butcher some chickens, because we weren't butchering a pig this week. And I had 6 chickens earmarked. And with 2 chickens out the front, and very early this morning there was a fellow out the front asking for pig meat. There's been quite a lot of people asking if we have any pork today, which we haven't. And this fella was eyeing up the chickens out the front, and he decided he'd buy 2 chickens, which was okay. He stood out the front having a bottle of beer. And then he'd pay for his chickens, so we took him out to weigh him, 260 a kilo. And as soon as he's seen the chickens, he says, "Yeah, I'll still buy them," but he says, "We're not eating them." He's taking away to keep them. He's not impressed with them once he got hold of them. How much did you pay for them 2 chickens?
1,150.
Yeah, 1,150 for the 2 we paid. So then me and Rama went down where the black Astrolopes are. We took a cockerel out of there, a mixed breed cockerel. And then we went down the other shed and got another 3 cockerels out of there, mixed breeds. And we put them in the cage out the front. And within 10 minutes, we'd sold 2 more for breeding. So we've 2 left out the front.
I said 3.
Oh, we sold 3.
Yeah.
3 more.
So that's 5 we sold.
We sold 5. There's 2 left out the front. So I don't know whether we'll get round to butchering them today or not now. I was looking forward for a bit of chicken for tea.
Why?
But I really wanted to butcher the 6 to do a trial run at selling chickens portioned up. But the sold. So I've got quite a lot more cockerels down there, which are a surplus to requirements. But I just don't want to go and yank them out, because I need to find the best ones in there to keep for myself for breeding. Brian, I didn't bring any eggs back from Australia. I did explain on the video I made after I came back. Australia at the minute is like America. There's no eggs on the supermarket shelves. Very few eggs. The bird flu, whatever type of bird flu, and they've been slaughtering on a wide radius of an infected farm. So there's a shortage of eggs. Now I did contact 6 breeders to buy fertile eggs. 4 of them I never got a reply from, and 2 I got a reply from saying there's nothing available. I don't know why. I can imagine if there's a shortage of eggs, people have been buying chicks and fertile eggs to get a couple of chickens at home. Maybe that's the reason. But anyway, there's no eggs available, so I didn't get to bring any back at all, unfortunately. The other thing what's happened this morning, we went down the. I got a shout to go down the piggery to look at the pigs. And I'm very nervous of getting disease in the shed. As we had it the first trial we had with that piggery, we got disease in there and we lost, in the end, we lost quite a few pigs. So I went down and they're wanting to kill this pig who's not so good. But I said no. The last thing you want to do if you've got suspicions of sickness in the piggery is to panic and we'll kill that one, and kill another one. So I went down and had a look, and the problem was a pen of 5 had been fighting quite a lot. So I told them to take 2 out and put them in another pen, lessen the numbers. And I came back and had a cup of coffee, and then I went back down again. And one of the 2 pigs we separated was vomiting. It wasn't bile, it wasn't greenish at all, it was just yellow, which the feed we're giving them is that colour. So I said, I'll just leave it. They wanted to butcher it, but I said no. I give them an hour, a couple of hours, and I took some, what do you call that packet stuff?
I forgot. I don't know.
No, I can't think. There's some in the cupboard here.
Primoxil.
Now, the pig was wagging its tail, no diarrhea. It didn't want to eat. And it was just a bit of vomit. So I went down a while later, an hour later or so, and I decided we'll give it that, what do you say? Primoxil. I give them 10 grams per gallon in a 5-gallon bucket. And I've told Wynne to feed them, it's in with the feed, I've told them to feed half that bucket today and half that bucket tomorrow, and then we'll repeat it. That's all the pigs, not just the one what we think might be sick. And then I give them some charcoal, and all the pigs ate the charcoal. The idea of the charcoal is it'll take any toxins out the stomach, and it'll pass through them that way. And then I went down, the last time I went down, the sick pig, it hadn't ate the charcoal. All the other pigs ate the charcoal readily. But I had I put my hand on it, it's not got a temperature, it's not got diarrhea, its tail's wagging, and while I was there it got up and ate some feed. and then went and laid down. Now, Wynn's just been up 15 minutes since, and he's had a look at the pig, and it's eating while he was there, and it's eating all the charcoal. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. But you need to be on top of things as best you can. And you've got Google there. You can Google these things. The trouble with Google is you get a myriad of possible diseases, and you're no wiser really. But at least you can check what to do, and that's what we did. And it looks like it's going to work for us. I don't think there's much wrong with the pig other than a bit of vomiting. It's a little bit unsteady on its feet. It's no diarrhea, it's no temperature. So I'm quite hopeful by tea time it'll be a thing of the past. But we'll continue with the powder we've given it, and I'll give them some more charcoal this afternoon. You can't give them too much charcoal, else you might make them constipated. So I'll give them more charcoal this afternoon and then take the bag away so they can't be given any more. Repeat the medicine tomorrow, and hopefully everything will be under control.
I will send comment in there.
So I will make a video today on what's gone on with that pig, because it might be of interest to other people. But other than that, today we're pouring concrete this afternoon. We've been putting up the shuttering this morning. They'll brace it up next after lunch and then pour the concrete. But it doesn't look like we'll be killing any chickens, so I won't be getting my chicken dinner. They're bloody omelette again, no doubt.
Yeah, but that's still chicken.
Yeah, well, it's still chicken. Yeah. There's no joke years ago. They get chicken every day. And the fellow said, roast chicken, stewed chicken. He said, no, in the shell. Montana Bob, I'm Montana Bob. Hello, Jean and David, or Mr. Tyke, as he puts it. Jane in Bohol and Bob's in Montana. Yeah, so you're a long way apart, Bob.
So her partner is Jane as well. Came from Bohol.
Yeah, Jane's in Bohol with a family or in their house or whatever the circumstances are. And Bob's maybe on holiday or he's gone back to work. Whatever. Yeah, so things happening this morning. It'd be a dull life if things didn't happen, wouldn't it?
I will do comment here. Look what I saw.
What?
I will let you read first. Don't press it so that it won't send.
What's that? Oh,
Let's see if it appears in there.
go on, upload it. It's no secret, Neil.
There.
Yeah, there we go. James just uploaded a comment. When you get to my age, the last thing you bloody need is a birthday. I tried to trick them all by saying it was on the 28th. You missed it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. So Jane's here, but she's hiding as usual.
Yeah, they used to it, so focus the camera onto you.
Yeah, that name's stuck, I think, isn't it, Mr. Tyke? Jane came up with that for the shop. I think it's a Filipino thing. Mr. Tyke. So I'm waiting for comments.
Yeah, but a lot of people watch you. It's 12 of them watch you.
There's obviously 12 people, nothing better
No,
to do.
no. Now it's a different background, which you can see.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
shop.
yeah. We swung over. Two reasons. The kittens are in the veranda, and they started eating a bit of solid feed, so they started pulling and that. So in that corner we've got some cat litter stuff. That's where the table normally is, and Jean sits at the right. Jean wasn't very happy because she was getting the smell of the cat litter. And then we thought, well, we'll do it here, and then the backdrop, you can see the shop and what's going on. You can't see very clearly, I don't think, but you can see what's going on in the background. What time did they go up this morning?
5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 to 6 o'clock. It was very busy in that shop outside.
Yeah,
Mostly buying bloody chickens.
look at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Montana Bob's a good mate of mine. Yeah. Right, slightly low. I'd be happy with 50. Shit, I'd be happy with 60. Yeah. No, birthdays have never meant much to me. We never really celebrated birthdays in our family. And I'm certainly not celebrating birthdays now. Yeah, but it's a nice day here. It's getting a bit warm now. Lovely and cool this morning. And the secret of the Sunday, well, every day really, but especially the Sunday, is to relax a bit and enjoy your surroundings. You get caught up in what you're doing, especially if you're building something. You get caught up in the day-to-day routine of looking after livestock, and you forget to look around and just enjoy what you've got. I wasn't very happy last night, mind. I went down to lock the chickens up, and there's no light in the main chicken shed. So I shone my torch around, and the light was up there, but it wasn't plugged in, and there was no extension cable. So at 6:30 last night, I'm looking around for the extension cable. Then I'm carrying the bloody ladders into the chicken shed and fighting with them in the dark. So I needed 2 hands for the ladders. He eventually got the ladders up, squared up, found an extension cable, and got the light plugged in, and sorted the timers out because of the brownout. The timers were set properly, and got light on in the chicken shed. So I was spitting feathers when I got up here and seen Jean. I said, let him bloody know tomorrow morning I'm not happy about that. And of course, Jean told them this morning, oh, it wasn't our fault, we didn't take it. It was Soy. Soy's the only one not in today. If I mention it to Soy tomorrow, he'll say, no, it was bloody Lynn. Yeah. Yeah, shout out from Canada for a silent viewer. Yeah, good to have you here. I must admit that, on videos I watch, I very rarely comment. Some people like to get involved and some people don't. I like to watch and observe and glean ideas from other people, and some things that I say, I think, well, that's maybe wrong. but I don't go on comments and say that it's wrong. It's just my opinion. And then I watch a video and think, oh, that's a damn good idea. I'll do that myself, adapt it maybe, and that's the beauty of YouTube, you know. Whereas you get some people in comments and they go a bit overboard, trolls or whatever you want to call them. I just can't understand the logic in it, so I don't participate in that sort of thing. I like critical comments because it makes you think, but they've got to be based on logic. If they're just based on stupidity, I reply, thank you for your comment, and that's it. I don't find these comments offensive, any of them, because they don't take offence. You want to be offensive, well, go somewhere else, because I don't take it. I just ignore it. It has no effect on me.
I see you now on the TV.
Oh, yeah. And that's good advice for everybody. If you want to get upset about it, they're winning, you're losing. Gerald from New Zealand. Hello, Gerald. Thank you. You've got David right. I'm not so sure about the Mr. in front, but David's my name. I don't like Mr. That was my father. He was Mr. But I'm just David.
How about the How about that one?
Mina Nevada. Always interested. Well, that's good, Modoc. Modoc Roofstock. You don't have to agree with everything I do here. But if it's interesting, then that makes me happy. My opinions are my opinions, and the way I do things is the way I do things. But I'm not an expert in anything, and I've no problem changing my opinion or changing my practices if I'm shown a better way of doing it. Nobody will change my opinion by critical comments or whatever. There's only me can change my opinion, and I'm happy to change opinions when I can see things put in front of me and it goes click. No, that's a better way of doing it than what I'm doing it. Then I change my way of doing it and I change my opinion. That's how you learn throughout life. Where's this Banyan Oriental? Where's that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe some part of Mindanao, if I'm right. I don't know.
Banyan, yeah, it is Banyan.
Mm.
I've never really understood this Oriental. You get Negros, Oriental, and Negros. What's the other word?
Do we get it? Negros.
No, Negros is split in two.
No, Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental.
Yeah, Oriental and Occidental. Is it north and south?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. You don't know. Murdoch again. Modoc.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a fair investment. When I came here and met Jean, I stayed for 3 months. And during that 3 months, we were looking for land. I was originally wanting to go to Bohol because you can get a lot more land there. And we seen this place, and I decided I'd put a 10% deposit on it before I went back to Australia. And we'd only been together for 3 months. I thought, well, if I put 10% down on it, it's there if I want it. And if I'm not sure or I change my mind, it's not too big a sum to lose. And then I came back, and we spent more time together, and slowly I became more confident that it was a relationship which would last. And then we bought the land, and I've invested a fair amount of money in here. I did secure a lease against the land, which is in Jim's name, and I did a proper lease through a solicitor, and I religiously pay the rent every month on that lease to Jim. So that's insurance. We were talking about that this morning. You've got to be careful with your investment. Somebody was commenting that my name isn't on the title for the land. Well, a foreign man can have his name on the title, but it doesn't mean anything. A foreign man can't own land in the Philippines, and it's already been through the Supreme Court. I looked into that before I even came to the Philippines. The land is in the girlfriend wife's name. If you build a house on that land, the house becomes part of the land, unless it's a mobile home and it can be torn off. So, in actual fact, your name on the land or the deeds to the house doesn't count for anything, because you can't change the fact that you're a foreign man, and a foreign man can't own land in the Philippines. The only way a foreign man can own a house in the Philippines is to be on a condominium, and I think that has to be 55% Filipino. Can't be any more than 45% foreign men, and you actually own the house, but you don't own the land, because it's illegal for a foreign man to own the land. It's quite simple, and it's common throughout Asia. It's just not the Philippines.
It's John.
John, oh yeah, John, not John. Yeah, he by gum descend John. Yeah. What else? I still come out with things in the Yorkshire dialect, which over the years have embarrassed me kids. And I just remember it's habit for me, and I still do it. I'll meet somebody and I'll say, "Hey up," and I still do it to this day. And the reply would be in Yorkshire when I was young, "Hey up this end." But I left Yorkshire when I was 19 the first time. I joined the army, and my accent has been eroded over the years. And you go to Yorkshire now, the accent's not the same as when I was a kid. We had an accent in West Yorkshire, in Huddersfield area, and you go down the road to Barnsley and they spoke completely bloody different. And then you go down the road another 30 miles to Sheffield, and they spoke differently. Well, even closer to home than that, where we lived, had an auntie lived up on Henley Moor, and it was only 4 miles away. And for example, in the old money, we'd say threaten Satan, 3.5 pence. We had a threepenny bit in them days, hexagon-shaped coin. And just 3 miles up the road, my auntie would say threepence halfpenny. We'd say threaten Satan, she'd say threepence halfpenny. And that was just 3 bloody miles up the road. So where we at?
Anthony Tyke.
Yeah, hello, Tony. Tony and Elira. Yeah, makes me happy if people like the show. It is what it is. It's not the BBC. We're not very professional. But if you're getting something out of it, then that's good. What we're getting out of it is, my family watches this. Uh, and once you start this YouTube malarkey, you get drawn into it. It's quite addictive. And the other thing I get out of it, when people subscribe, and you've got these adverts now on it, every month it buys me a load of gravel or a load of sand. It's a big help. It's not a lot of money, and you couldn't relate the cost of a load of sand to the amount of time you put into it, although I don't do any editing or anything like that. It's not cost effective, but to have a load of gravel every month free is quite good. Yeah, it's quite good.
You know where you're at?
Yeah, Murdoch is travelling over in here October, scuba diving and travel.
3 months.
Yeah, I did a bit of scuba diving when I was younger. Not very successfully because of the perforated eardrum. But I think 80 feet I went down to. That was in Cyprus. But I never continued it. But I would imagine the Philippines, because it's so undeveloped around the coast and so many islands and different coastlines, I would imagine the scuba diving is really good here. It's certainly good in Cyprus. Not so good around Britain because it's too cloudy and the vision's very poor. Yeah, Montana Bob again. Yeah, it'd be good to see the house built, but it's going to be a slow job. I'm aiming to next week we'll get the roof on, or biggest part of it on, I would think, and we'll be able to carry on with walls and windows. We'll get it to lock up stage, and then it might slow down. It'll be slowed down while we're putting the roof on, because I've no more materials to buy. That's all on site, so that'll give me a couple of weeks to catch up money wise. But it's bound to come to a stop, because we will run out of money, and we'll be waiting for pensions coming in, and earnings in the shop and earnings off the pigs. Saving up a bit of money to buy the next lot of materials to continue it forward. But that's life. I mean, everybody does that. You build a house anywhere in the world, you either get a mortgage and it's all done within a time frame, or if, like us, you're building it yourself, you build as far as you can go on the budget you've got, and then you have to stop and gather funds together again, and that's what's going to happen to us. So it might be 12 months to 2 years before the house is finished. And expanding the Sari store.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. But I don't think that'll happen this year. Yeah, John again. Yeah, you're right, John. If you buy leasehold anywhere, you own the house but not the land. Now in Australia, me and the ex-wife, we bought a house in a retirement village, and that's leasehold. we own the house, but not the land. And the ex-wife is still in that house. I'll leave her alone in peace. So I actually own half the house, but I'll never realise, statistically, women outlive men, so I'll never realise the funds in that house. And that was the settlement I went for. Just divide the savings and leave the ex-wife in peace. I don't wish her any harm. Our marriage had come to an end, and it's that simple. It's no good being bitter about anything or dwelling on the past. Fortunately, I got the chance to start again. Oh, Somerset. Tony Pike, Somerset. Yeah.
What is that?
South west of England. Cider, scrumpy country. Apple cider, alcohol. Tony knows how you test the cider, whether it's any good or not. They make it on farms, or they used to. And the way to test it to make sure if it's any good, you dip a dead rat in it.
Dead rat?
And if anything pulls out apart from the tail, it's not ready.
Dead rat?
Yeah, dead rat. It's acidic, not strong in alcohol. You dip the dead rat in it, and it dissolves it. And if there's anything comes out, you leave it another week or fortnight. Test it again.
I won't believe you.
No, it's true. You ask Tony. He'll tell you. Duvin Porter Galara.
Puerto Galara. That's somewhere in Palawan, I think.
Yeah.
10-day trip.
10-day trip, yeah. So he's obviously into his scuba diving. Yeah, let's have a smile, Genius saying.
I'm not up to smiling.
Yeah, shows that beautiful smile.
Yeah. I'm not feeling well. That's why no smile. That's why I'm hiding.
Yeah, the other thing about YouTube, and particularly on a live stream like this, is you get to talk to other foreign men. Most of the day, I'll go through the shop and sit in the shop for half an hour, keep Gene company, and everybody's talking away and laughing, and you're not part of it.
Yeah, they're just gossiping you.
I'm gossiping, that's all. Don't mind.
Because you don't understand what they're saying, so they will gossip onto you.
Yeah.
Then I would say to them, yeah, that's fine because he doesn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right, John. She only does it for me. Oh, you're talking about smiling. Yeah, you might get a smile out of it, but you won't get 10 pesos, that's for sure. I'm just looking for
Day, pangutan na ko dun sa giuli na ba niya itong
activity
basyo
down the
kuwan?
bottom. It's 20 to 1, so the funny down here, the Philippines, these work fellas. I don't No, they self-regulate, I think. You get them on one day, they'll take lunch and they'll take an hour and a quarter instead of an hour. And then another day, they'll take 30 minutes and be back at work. I don't know, can't quite understand it.
Yeah, sometimes they came very early.
Yeah, I mean,
Same yesterday, they came 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Between the pigs. That was yesterday.
Yeah, but they're in early this morning. What time they come in this morning?
Yeah, before 6, before 7, they arrived already.
They don't start till 8 o'clock. But I don't know. What I do know, at the end of the day, they put the hours in they're required to do. And when I first came here, I was watching them all the time, you know. They sat down again and all.
We have a visitor here. There's our visitor.
Mama cat.
Mama cat.
But no, we're settled down now. I'll just leave them to an extent. If I'm not happy with something, I'll let them know. And they work well. You couldn't fault them. They do things differently. But there again, I'm saying they do things differently. I'm not a builder, so I don't really know. But same as the water tubes to get the level. I thought, well, that's gone with the arc, but they're still using it here. But when they talk to David, no, they still use them water tubes in the West. David still uses them. Seating machinery, they've got to be exactly level. And the, what do you call it, radar levelers, laser levelers aren't accurate enough. They're pretty accurate for normal circumstances, but if you've got to be exactly level with 2 metre deep footings for every machinery, like layers and that, no, they're not accurate enough to still use water levelers. Kenneth Paisley, yeah, Kenneth, them 3 big pigs. How old are they now?
They will be turning 4 months this coming 5 of April.
5th of April, the 4-month-old. I estimate them to be 150 kilos each. They've gone on to finisher. They've been on finisher about 10 days now. They're way above the weight for the recommendations of the feed company. They haven't started cycling yet. They aren't on the first period. On the second period, we've got a ball earmarked and we'll get them served. Then we'll be producing his own piglets. That's why I'm so nervous about disease in the shed, which the first lot of pigs we got put through the shed. We made a profit overall, but we lost 8 pigs. We can't repeat that. We've done a lot of work since then. We've got all the netting up, foot bass,
lime.
None of these things are a golden bullet to stopping disease, but collectively they all help. But I'm using a lot of lime, heavily using lime. I know that works. I mean, they've used lime to prevent disease for centuries. If you had pigs free ranging, then it's not such a big problem. But when you put animals in a confined space and start farming them, high numbers, in an unnatural environment, disease becomes more of a problem, whether it's chickens, pigs, or anything else intensively farmed. But if we keep them sows for 6 litres, you're talking a period of maybe 3.5 years for them sows. So you've got to be disease-free to the extent where you can keep pigs over a long period of time. If disease comes through the shed again, then that's not going to be feasible. All we're going to be able to do is put 4 lots of 10 pigs at a time through, and then have a 6-week gap and load it up again with 4 lots of 10 pigs, and just grow them out. But I think the money's going to be in, and the control over all the aspects of raising pigs is going to be farrowing the pigs themselves. So I'm nervous about disease. Hello, Derek. Yeah. South of Cebu.
Yeah. What
From
part of
Perth.
Cebu?
I presume that's Perth in Australia.
Yeah.
Dan, not Perth in Scotland. Yeah, I mean, this is how I built the piggery. I had a piggery in Kiran, and it was about the same width but twice as long, and it was old, and everything inside it was old. I spent all my time bloody repairing things. The channels were buggered, and slats. I was making new slats all the time. It's just hard work. And they had the opportunity to build from new. And this is what I built. Now, a lot of people I know think it's over the top for a piggery. Well, it's not, no. But it's a grand building for a piggery in the Philippines. Let's put it that way. Now, you could build the same in a quarter of the size for sure, and you can add on to it. You can do what you want, really. Equally, there's, if you look at the Filipino piggeries, which is basically a roof on stilts, and then the concrete walls they put in, where some put steel pens in. And there's nothing wrong with building a piggery like that either. They work for decades in the Philippines. Some of them are made out of bamboo, and they work. The pigs will soon destroy a bamboo wall, but they still do it that way, and they're repairing them all the time, no doubt. But yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a piggery. It's just that I chose to do it that way. If you go with a basic structure with tin sheet roofing and concrete pens, it'll work. It'll work for you, but you'll have to make it work. You can't just build it, put pigs in, and expect to get results. You've got to work at it for sure. Yeah, well, you could build. That figure is, how wide is it, Gene? You know,
60-30?
No, 60-20. No,
60-30.
Yeah, it's 30 feet wide. So you can build a shed 60 feet by 30 feet, and then at a later date add another 30 feet section on, and do it that way. Yeah, nothing to stop you. You could do the same size shed, 60 foot long, in a more traditional Filipino way for the same money as a quarter of that shed. That's something you might want to consider, but I think I'm a bit more commercial. That's the way I've been all my life. Um, it could be narrower than that, with less room for the pigs or less room for the aisleway. Yeah, you can just build it how you think and to your budget you've got. You can look at the shed I've built and take any ideas you want from that, and you can look at how other people have built a piggery, like the foreigner farm, the Aussie farming in the Philippines. He's got a nice piggery shed, um, which costs a lot less than what I spent. And this shed works. It's worked for a good lot of years. Um, yeah, just take a bit of info from different people and put it all together and come up with your own solution and your own budget. But it'll work if you make it work and do it. Don't be, what do they say in Australia? Don't be a gonna be. I'm gonna do this and gonna do that. If you've a mind to do it, get started. And it'll all work out if you put the effort in.
Lucy?
Kenneth, yeah, I agree with you, Kenneth.
Yeah, that's what happened to us last time.
Yeah, possibly. It's hard to say what happened to us last time. But the big problem was during the drought period, we were drilling a well at the back of the piggery as well, and they were going through a lot of water. I had a truck full of water coming here every day. Was it
1,000 peso a day.
15,000 peso? No,
1,000 peso.
1,000 peso a day of water coming in here. And some of it was it was stinking of chlorine. So that must have been bad water for them to put chlorine in it. What quantity was going in the water, we've no idea. It was coming from different wells, different sources. And I suspect that was a big problem, was the water. That's how it came in the shed. But you can't prove that. It could have been a myriad of other ways. But I think that's favoured. So now, the well by the cabin here, that dried up. So I had a well sunk at the back of the piggery. That's how many feet deep is that?
130?
That's 130 foot depth, that bore. So that's good clean water. And that's fully automatic. It pumps no problem. And this one by the cabin, I had that really sunk. And that's gone down to 70 feet, is it? And that one is slow pumping water, or has been, but we don't use it very much. Now, this last 2-3 days, it's pumping well again. It's pumping very well. And I can only imagine the little micro streams feeding the well, because we're using it more now with mixing concrete every day. I've enlarged a little bit and we're getting better water flow into the well. But yesterday and the day before when I put it on, it's pumping at full bore. It's 1/2-inch pipe into the tank and it's pumping at full bore under pressure. There's no air in it anymore. So I think it's slowly improving the water flow into that well. So we've got 2 good wells, 70 feet deep and 130 feet deep. So this coming dry season, touch wood, I'm hoping to have no problems with water. And the water's filtered before it goes to the pigs as well. But yeah, you're quite right, in my opinion. Water is critical. Absolutely critical. If you have dirty water, you're not going to win. Western Australia, Perth in Australia.
Oslo.
Oslo, what's that mean?
Yeah, that's part there in the south. There are a lot of nice beaches in there.
South Sudan. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't been down, or I haven't been down
No,
that
I
road
haven't
yet.
been there as well.
Yeah.
I want to do it like yours.
Yeah, if you like it, then that's what you do.
Look like yours.
I'm,
But don't make the floor like what David
no,
did. Shiny.
I think the way to go building here is concrete and steel, personally. Next door on the chicken farm, it's concrete bases to the posts, then timber uprights. Well, you get too many insects here. I assume they have white ants. Um, so I'd be nervous about using cocoa wood, which doesn't last very long anyway. If the cocoa wood's from the bottom of the palm tree, it's quite hard, but the top of the palm tree is quite soft. It doesn't seem to last very long. So definitely concrete and metal, I would say. And Jean says don't build the
Floor.
floors the same. I wanted smooth floors to be able to easily clean, no hiding places for bacteria to grow, which was, a good enough reason. And I realised that the pigs would slip on it possibly, so we tried to put a non-slip surface on, and we used aluminium oxide, but it wore off, and you'd have been recoating it every 3 months. Well, that wasn't going to work. So then I said, right, we'll chip the floors, and that's working well. The adult pigs aren't slipping anymore. Smaller pigs didn't slip anyway because they're more agile. But we've got the best of both worlds now. We've got a non-slip floor, and in spite of all them pieces being chipped out, it's still a smooth floor for 50% of the surface area, and it's still easily washed out. And the pressure holes, I don't think there's any bad bacteria will grow in them chipped out pieces. And the pressure washer gets rid of all the muck, no problem. So I think we've finally got it right. We've got good floors now. Yeah, well, if you want to know anything else, just ask away. I'll give you an honest reply, but only as I see things. You might see things where you can improve on what I'm doing, and go for it. There's far many more people out there have done a better job than me. But it's down to money, like you say. You can do endless things if you have endless amount of money, which none of us do. So you can only do what your budget allows you to do at the end of the day. Hello, Brian in Melbourne. I have no idea what's up this. Melbourne's 4 hours in front, isn't it?
3.
Ah.
3 hours.
So at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. You're almost late of Mr. Tyke's birthday party.
No, it's not a bloody shut up about the birthday. I don't have birthdays anymore.
Don't have birthdays anymore?
No, I've had too many. I'm bored with them.
Jillian, you bring candle here, you sing happy birthday.
Piss off. Yeah. No, it's 4 hours in front.
No, it's 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, 3 hours in front, 4 o'clock. Just the figure 4. Whereabouts in Melbourne do you live, Brian? Which suburb? See if it's anywhere near where I live. That's if you want to say. Yeah, I lived in Malvern 20 years.
Sydney.
Begonia. And it's en route for Sydney.
Oh.
So if you fly in, it's an hour and a bit. If you go going by car, I don't know what, I think 6 to 8 hours by car. If you're going by train, then you get there next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Why?
No, it's a good train service to Sydney. You get overnight from Melbourne to Sydney, which is, I suppose is the only way to go. The tracks are very bad. They're up and down, up and down. It's a very slow journey. 9.5 hours. So he's going. Oh, he's driving the truck. I drove from the Gold Coast back to Melbourne when I was over there on holiday, maybe 30 years ago now. And I had a camper van, quite a big camper van. So I looked at the map and I drove to back to Melbourne. But I drove over the what do you call it? I can't think. Over the mountains, and then I dropped down into Dubbo, and you could see big open plains in front of you. Dubbo. I dropped down into Dubbo, and I was talking to a truck driver there. Stopped at a truck stop, and he said, "No, you've done it all wrong." He said, "You should have gone up to Brisbane, and then down to Dubbo." And you'd have avoided the Great Australian Range, but I can't think what you call it. You'd have been travelling on flat land all the time. So a little bit of local knowledge, you see. What took me 15 hours, I don't know how long it took now. It took me about 12 hours going via Brisbane. A lot easier drive. But that's part of the adventure about Australia when you go for the first time on holiday. It's you're gobsmacked with the distances and the beauty of the place. A different sort of beauty. You see inland nothing, all just mile after mile of nothing, and then the rains come, and it's that lush and bloody green right down to Ayers Lake. All that water comes from Northern Territory in Queensland, travels thousands of miles into a dry desert and floods the lake, and then it becomes an haven of bird life. You just can't imagine what happens when you add water to the dry interior of Australia. Yeah, that's very difficult to answer, Kenneth, because everybody's costs are different. I don't have any way at the minute of supplementing the cost of feeding the pigs, so it's all out of sacks of pellets, which is the most expensive way to raise pigs. Now, if you take the Aussie farming in the Philippines, well, I think his pigs, he more or less uses pellets as well, but if you look at his chickens, he's able to buy corn from local farmers, then mill it himself, and reduce his feed bill for his chickens and his goats. He could actually do it with his pigs as well, but I don't think he does. I don't have that option, so I'm buying all the grain, all the feed in. If I buy grain in, it's the same cost per kilo as buying the pellets in. But what I'm doing is I'm fermenting the feed, which in theory makes more of the feed available for digestion, and so therefore lowers my feed costs. And it's working. It's ridiculous the amount of I'm getting out of that feed compared to feeding it dry and not fermenting it. The big pigs have been on finisher for about 10 days. Them big pigs were 120 kilo and they're still on grower. And they're way above the weight the feed manufacturer says to aim for. So I'm saving a lot of money on feed. I'm certain about that. But I couldn't give you an answer in pounds, shillings, and pence on what it cost before and what it costs fermenting. I'm just certain I'm getting a big saving, but I can't quantify it monetarily for you. Are you feeding organic grass? Yeah, but not a lot of people know. You do, obviously, because you're feeding grass. Spring grass, there's enough protein in spring grass to feed pigs, free ranging it or cutting the grass and taking it in for the piggery, for that matter, to feed the pigs. You don't need anything more. Then you get onto summer grass, they need some supplementing, and autumn grass, and of course winter grass. Depending on in the UK and Europe, for example, there's no such thing as winter grass. It grows up very, very slowly. But yeah, grass, and depends what you've got. But yeah, you can make the majority of the feed for the pigs out of grass. I'm certain about that. The different, you might have to supplement it a bit to get that. If you've got pigs going into farrowing, you might want to supplement that with a bit extra milled grain or pellets or whatever. But yeah, there's no right and wrong way to feed pigs. I mean, in Europe, traditionally they fed pigs on potatoes and turnips during the winter. But you have to cook them first. They all have little kitchens. Pigs will eat raw potatoes, but they get very little out of it. You cook them and get a lot out of it. Yeah, they don't, Brian. It's let's be honest, Australia is a fabulous country. Just my opinion. Yeah, wild boars, it's all in the name. Wild boars are wild, and they can be quite dangerous. That's why with piglets you nip before teeth either side of their mouth. If you don't nip them teeth, they grow into tufts, and they can do a lot of damage with it. Do a lot of damage. There'll be plenty of wild boars in the Philippines, I've no doubt, Brian. There's certainly plenty of wild boars in Australia. I've seen videos in America trapping wild boars, different parts of America. They're an animal that they revert back to being wild very quickly, and they do well in the wild. That's why you have them farming, because 15 piglets a litre and the very few predators in the wild, because they can give as much as they take. They're a very ferocious animal, a very powerful animal. Domestic pigs in a piggery. They can knock you over, no bother at all. 150, 120 kilo pig, if you're in their way, they'll push you to one side. But they can't do you much damage. Pigs can't bite like a dog. They bite from the side. And with the tusks removed, they can do very little damage to you. But they can still mark you with the teeth on your shins or thigh. You can see looking at the other pigs. There's lots of little marks and scratches. They can still bite, but they can't get old, if that makes sense. Right. Are they in pest proportions in the Philippines? I don't know, Brian. I've not heard of such. There's certainly pest proportions in Australia and in America. There's probably a lot more about in the Philippines than what people realise, because there's a lot of jungle in here, so you won't see them as much.
Unsa man na day? Unsa man?
Well,
Masang dalon. Di na lagi mauli lagi. Asa dalon niya?
Ay, wala ka hindi mo. Wala lagi mo. Ang dami lagi. Kuan nga dili boy. Sa lagi sa mo punta kuan mo dili.
The wild boars, chemist sauce.
Lagi kay nagpalit sa merkado, di man gud may kapalit og botilya.
Chemist sauce and locally from the local people in this province. Now the thing with wild boars, if you bring them back into the shed, some
There's
breed,
no aita in here.
some breed the wildness out of them. What are you on about?
No, that one. Aita people in my province. That's
Yeah, they're the local natives where he's living.
oh,
Yeah, wherever that is.
Ifugao, something like that.
Where?
Ifugao.
Ifugao. Where's that?
Some part of Mindanao, I think, or
Oh,
in
right.
Luzon.
Yeah,
It's a province.
yeah.
But here we did not see some wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine they do have a lot of crushing power. I know they can get hold of metal bars with the teeth and bend the damn things. With a metal bar on one of the pens on the feeding trough, the wolves are giving way at one end. They're going to hold it up, because if you don't hold it up straight away, they'll play with that metal bar until it curled out, and they'll pull on it and break it eventually. Ride it
Yes,
out.
in Pampanga, so that's part of Manila province. In Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I haven't seen a wild boar.
You've never seen one.
No, I haven't seen.
So, why are you buying wild boars, Kenneth? Is it because they're cheaper than buying a domestic pig, or is there no domestic pigs available, or are you buying the wild boars for a gamey meat? Like a lot of game animals, deer, wild boar.
Ayun lagi.
There's part of the carcass which you can get a very good price for, but a lot of the carcass people don't want, and it's minced up, same as deer, to make soup with. Yeah, well, if you got wild boars coming in, they're susceptible to having a lot of disease. They'll certainly be full of worms. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't buy a wild boar for that reason. But I know if a pig escapes into the wild, it soon adapts. And equally, if wild boars are available and that's the way you want to go, they soon become domesticated again.
Ayaw, Ming.
Look, I'm saying all this. I don't really know much about wild boars. I've never had anything to do with them. You know,
Agay!
just what I imagine. The kitten is attacking Jane. Yeah.
See, you want David, put that down, David B. Now it's there na.
Yeah, so you're buying them because they're cheaper, low maintenance, they'll be more resistant to disease. I can see all that. I can see the sense of doing that. But the offspring of that pig will be the same as commercial pigs again, or the offspring, the second generation, will be back to commercial pigs again. The thing is with wild boars, if it's working for you, it's working for you, and yeah, I'd be doing it as well if it worked. I've never seen a wild boar here, so I don't know if they're available. I've never looked into it. Yeah, well, that's the thing, COVID. The slightest thing happens here, like did this morning to us, it's all ASF. It's all doom and gloom. Every bloody pig's going to die. This is where your management skills and the big learning curve for us is to managing these little problems before they get into a big problem. Now, is it ASF? I have my doubts. I mean, look at bloody COVID. I don't believe anything what they say to me, whether it be governments or whatever. I think COVID's proved, and it's my opinion, it's all bullshit. Might be wrong. That's my opinion. If you had swine flu in your shed, within 2 or 3 days, every pig would be dead. And that's how infectious swine fever is. This African, is it man-made? Games of function research? I don't know. Can life stop because of all this nonsense what's been going in around these diseases this last 2 or 3 decades? I mean, prior to COVID, there was a lot more. No, of course it can. You can't give up. You've got to carry on. And I'm pretty sure that you can still manage a pig farm if you work at it and think about what you're doing and learn from experience. And that's the way I'm going. And yeah, if things turn sour again, they turn sour again. But providing I've put in the effort to mitigate any outbreak of disease, then at least I've tried my best. Yeah, I think that's right, Ryan. The meat we've had off these pigs this time has been 100% better than the first pigs we had in that shed.
Especially now that they're on finisher. Because the meat starting to mix with the fat on it.
Yeah, I don't know. This morning, with people queuing for meat out the shop,
More than 10 person. Lot of
um,
chat asking if we kill one. Motorbike stopping in front, asking if there's a meat coming.
so we certainly made an impression of 5 or 6 weeks we've been butchering a pig.
6 weeks.
6 weeks,
Yeah.
we butchered 6 pigs. And last week especially, because the fella around the corner that wasn't butchering a pig, it was up virtually all sold.
Yeah,
Before
all.
it hit the
Including
table.
the frozen inside. It's
There's-
all gone.
There's nothing now in that fridge.
All.
So if we butcher a pig next week and we don't sell anything, it goes in the fridge
Yeah, and that's fine.
and it will sell during the week. We could butcher 3 pigs next Sunday,
No.
and we'd sell 1.5 pigs and the other pig and a half would go in the freezer. But they're not heavy enough. I want to grow them. I want quantity as well as the best quality we can produce.
Someone already said that if we're gonna kill next week, we're gonna buy a full rib.
Yeah,
Mm.
which won't be very big on a
Yeah,
50
maybe
kilo big dead weight.
around 8.
Yeah.
Need to put up your kill date roadside.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Kenneth. Not just the Philippines, pigs adapt in the wild very, very quickly and can survive with no assistance whatsoever. And they're very difficult to get rid of feral pigs in Australia, even with the best rifles in the world. They don't make a dent in the population, really. They've become a pest there, like rabbits. They do a lot of damage in the cornfields and sugarcane fields. Yeah, they're very adaptable. And they breed up very quickly, like rabbits. Rabbits are second to pigs for breeding up. Yeah, put the kill dates up roadside. It's word of mouth.
Yeah, I just said them next week or the following week, and then that will spread out.
It literally is a bush telegraph here. Something's said at the front of that shop and it's all round the top of the mountain within 30 minutes. You don't need a sign. I just told you to mention it and that's it.
Asa ka dudes? Walang kadragi.
How much a kilo do we sell with pig meat for, June?
300 peso.
300 peso, but the trotters are how much?
Trotters is 280.
280.
The pig mask is 280.
And the pig head?
Pig head, we're selling it for 300 peso a piece.
Each pig mass is 300 peso.
No.
A kilo?
280 a kilo. What
280.
is 300 is the bone of the...
Yeah, the pig's head, the bone.
300 peso.
For the actual head.
Yeah.
And then the guts sell for
800 peso including the liver.
Included 800 peso.
If the liver is not included in there, we're selling it for 600 and then we sell the liver there for 250 a kilo.
Yeah. And meat without a bone in you were selling
320.
320. So if you average it out, 300 pesos a kilo. Now down the market for boneless meat, how much are you selling on the market?
They said it's around 400, 390.
390 in a minute, so it's very high on the market.
There in the woman there, the barangay captain's father.
Yeah.
He bought here last time.
Yeah.
He gonna sell it for 335.
Yeah.
And the one with bone, without bone, is 350.
Yeah. But the barangay captain's father was selling it the week before for 320, wasn't it?
330.
330. And then you lowered the price.
No, they didn't lower the price. They put it high.
I thought they lowered the price 1 week because we were selling it.
No.
Yeah. So just round the corner is selling for $3.20 a kilo. We're a little bit cheaper. But he's buying the pigs into slaughter. So we're getting a bigger profit margin than him at 300. So we want to be competitive, we want to be profitable, and that's the balance. That's the secret of being in business. You want to make as much possible profit as possible, but you've got to keep the demand up as well. You need the demand.
Compare your income. We sell the pig live versus butchered. So far, we did not sell
Yeah.
any live.
Well, if you sell an election pig at the minute, you're getting
50
350 pesos a
a
kilo
kilo.
live weight.
Yeah, that's around less than 50 kilos.
But if you slaughtered an election pig, you'd have 25 to 30 kilos of meat to sell.
Yeah,
And-
there's no profit.
And you won't get any bonus on top of that for your price. So your pigs you're butchering, in Australia I produced pork at 70 kilos. That was prime pork, fresh pork. But they used to like the pigs going out between 70 and 85 kilos. That was the fresh pork. If they got heavier than that, then you're into bacon pigs. And you get a little bit less for them from the factory to process them. But of course, you've got 120, 140 kilos as opposed to 70 kilos at the top price. So, but versus butchers, we wouldn't be slaughtering a pig at 40 kilos, 45 kilos, and there's not nothing in
So
dead
far,
weight to justify it, and you won't get a higher price anyway.
yeah, the very first pig we butchered that was 65 kilos. That's the lowest one.
Yeah.
And the
If we
biggest was 92.
If we butcher a pig next week, we might be able to find one 65 kilos.
Yeah, dead weight around 50.
But we'll only butcher it to keep the interest going in the shop. I don't really want to butcher at that weight. I don't want to butcher under 80 kilos live weight. And I prefer to butcher 100, 120 kilos to maximise what we're getting out of the pig meat-wise. Because they get past 60 kilos and they start packing on weight very quickly. And you get a 90 kilo pig, it only takes a week to get 100 or 10 days to get 100 kilos. So I can see profit in that time frame. And the bigger pigs don't eat an awful lot of feed compared with pigs of 50 kilo and 40 kilo. They're eating a lot. They're growing that quick, and the bodies are developing. They're eating a lot more feed than a fully grown pig, which the big ones are becoming fully grown now. Yeah, I know there's a lot of wild boars in America, but different. I mean, America's like Australia; it's a very big country. So there's a problem in California.
How many days did it take for your pig meat to sell out in your area?
Yeah, well, last Sunday the pig we sorted was sold out before it hit the table out the front.
8 o'clock, it was all gone. That was 86 kilos.
Yeah, but prior to that, because just around the corner, a fellow was killing a pig, and 1 week there was somebody killing a pig eye up the mountain as well. We were selling about 3/4 of the pig. Over half the pig was going anyway.
Yeah, and then
And
what's
the
left
rest was going in the freezer,
in a week time?
and it sells over the week. They know they can get pork here every day out the freezer.
Yeah, we even sell the frozen one in the fridge last Sunday. That was around 20 kilos, David. It's all gone in the freezer. The one win chop,
Sorry, I was eating.
the rump, which win.
Oh, the last last week when we
Yeah.
killed a pig, there was a full rump
Oh, it was
in the
being
freezer from the week before.
it was being sold as well.
That went as well.
That's why we defrost the fridge yesterday
Yeah, we got finally got the fridge defrosted,
because it's empty, nothing in there.
and we had a power cut all day.
It's just on time, the power cut.
Yeah.
There was no meat on it.
So we got the freezer defrosted, and they came up for ice in the water. And Gillian gave them the ice. I said, no, put that back. I said, they can have this ice. And I pulled a load of ice out the bottom of the freezer and tried to give it to Roger, and he's looking stupid at me. I said, it's good ice. I said, it's baboy flavoured.
He said,
but he wouldn't have it. He wouldn't have it.
That's so fast, ha ha ha.
Yeah, it did sell exceptionally fast last week.
Yeah. When David was away, we killed a pig that was, how many kilos is that one?
It was just short of 80, I think, 78 kilos.
No, that was 80.
Yeah.
80 kilos. And we sell almost of it as well.
I'd like to think, but it's too early to say, but I'd like to think it sold so quick because I'd had it 2 or 3 weeks previous, or had it the previous week, and they recognised it was high quality meat. It looks that way to me, but it's too early to say that. But I'd still like to think that we've made an impression locally with the quality of the meat. And we've got to maintain that, of course. That's the hard bit, is maintaining. It might be just a fluke, and it's a one-off, and we go back to the run-of-the-mill pork. But I'd like to think it's selling so quickly because they've recognised it's a better quality product we're producing. And hopefully it is, and if it is, we have to maintain that. That's difficult, really. Yeah, I've just been saying the Barangay captain's father.
It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition. The competitors, there's a slight difference.
Yeah.
And there's a fellow up the week before, a fellow up the mountain sold a pig as well. And they were cheaper than us, I think, on them.
It's just a gossip, and then when I try to ask someone, and then they said, "Oh, no one killed pig in there."
But the price we're selling at is the price we're selling at. I don't care if somebody's cheaper or dearer. We just need to be competitive. But I won't lower the price. And if the prices go up locally, not just on the market, a lot of the meat on the market you see is frozen meat imported. If the price goes up, then my price will go up. If price goes down, like it did with the first lot of pigs due to swine flu, I didn't lower the prices in the shop. It stayed at 300, and they were selling meat for nothing. Well, that was all right. It just stayed in the freezer. It wasn't taken in the arm, and it all sold eventually. But we didn't lower the prices.
The thing is, we're not like the other man who's killing pig. We're gonna roam around houses to ask if they gonna want meat. But ours is different. We just display the meat outside the shop, and then
come to us.
Yeah, people passing by, they're the one who's buying. And
the thing is, if you go around houses hawking the meat, they all want it.
Yeah, but
can they pay the week after?
Yeah,
this sort of thing. But a lot of credit involved, and we don't want to go into that either.
But there outside, we're not doing credit until to pay cash. And they can see as well the meat was very nice. That's what they keep on saying.
I mean, I brought some mustard back from Australia. You can get mustard here, French mustard, American mustard, German mustard. Can you see that? Hot English mustard. Just bog standard English mustard. I give Jean a taste.
Yeah, fast.
All this business. So we had pork night before last, and it was a bit of belly pork, and I cut it in two, and I took the fatty bit, and I put some English mustard on it. It was absolutely beautiful.
Taas, Day.
And I give Jean a taste, and she said, "Yeah, that's nice." She couldn't taste the mustard as such, and it wasn't hot. But I ate too much of that fatty pork. I was a bit uncomfortable afterwards. And that's the thing about English mustard. That's how it came about. We used to have what we call boiled bacon, which was sow's belly. It was all fat. And you boiled it up because you couldn't roast it and just render to nothing if you roasted it. You boiled it up, and then you took thin slices off, usually for supper, and put a bit of belly, a bit of boiled bacon in your two slices of bread. And you'd have one sandwich, and it was starting to feel sickly after the time you come to the end of the sandwich. And you could only manage one, but if you put a bit of mustard on it, you could eat 4 sandwiches, no problem. Which I did as a kid. Couldn't stop eating, you know. But you wouldn't eat boiled bacon now, I guarantee. I would, but I guarantee you wouldn't. Just a solid lump of fat.
But it's great that your pigs are sell out in just one day. In just a day.
Yeah. It was, I'm hoping it's not exceptional. I'm hoping that we can repeat it. But yeah, it was exceptional day for sure. Hello, Ants. Yeah, we're all doing good here. Yeah, things progressing. Bit of a scare this morning, there was saying earlier on with a sick pig. I'm going to do a video after this about the pig and what we did, and I'll show you. I wasn't doing a video today. I'm aware it gets a bit monotonous. It's the same day in and day out. But yeah, I've a little story to tell regarding that pig, so I'll make a video after this.
Is that a goat yelling?
Yeah, it's probably
It's the
Jillian.
cat. No, it's the cat.
Oh, is it the cat?
Yeah, it's crying now. The mother cat is giving milk to them.
Yeah, Jillian's her youngest niece, and she can be very wild. So, we've been going an hour and a half, that's about it, I think. We've got 10 likes, 12 people viewing.
Imagine if all 3 sows on your farm give birth at the same time. That
Yeah,
would be a lot of work.
We couldn't cope with that, Kenneth. When the pigs cycle, hopefully we'll get 2 cycling at the same time. If they're on standing heat, I'll get the sow in, and hopefully get the boar in, and hopefully get both sows served over a couple of days. So you've got we've got 2 farrowing pens. That's as most you want to be doing, or I want to be doing anyway. And then the third one, we'll miss a cycle if need be, until we've got that 30-day gap, and then we've got to get the boar in for the third one. I intend to wean the pigs at 30 days. After the first week, I'll put them on creep feed for them to play with initially, and then I'll wetten that creep feed and put it on the sow's nipples so they get a taste for it. And the weaning process will start after the first week. being born. So we can wean at 30 days, put them into a pen by the soles, enough if needed, give them supplementary milk, but I don't think you'll need to. And then it's at that stage they'll come back on eating the most productive, and serve them with a boar again. Get the maximum out of them. That's the plan. Whether it's practical to do it, you'll have to wait and see, because I've never farrowed pigs before. But that's what I plan to do if possible. Yeah, he had 6 piglets, ants, which is low, so I assume it's the first litter. And did you wait for the second cycle, the second time or a third time before you mated it? Or if you mated it on the first cycle, that's probably why you've got low numbers. The pig doesn't know what its body's doing on the first cycle. And if they are mated on the first cycle, generally speaking, they'll only have a very small litter. Second and third cycles, some people say that wait for the third cycle, because you get bigger litters. I'll probably mate them on the second cycle, because I'd be quite happy with 8 to 10 piglets. I don't really want large litters of 15 in my first go at farrowing pigs. We've decided we're going to go with the boar, Kenneth, because I did want to go with AI to get a better breed of pig, because I intend to have a close shedding when I'm done. No pigs coming in from the outside. But with the AI here, you can't. Well, you probably can, but I haven't found yet a company where they'll give you the sperm from a specific breed and a specific boar, a named boar or a numbered boar, so you know exactly what you've used, and then in the future you can use a different boar. And locally, the semen's coming from anything, from anywhere, and the success rate is low, artificially inseminating. So we've decided to go for a local pig, with more chance of getting the sow pregnant, and he has a reasonably good boar, the fellow we know, and he gets reasonably good litters from that boar. It's tried and tested, so we won't be bringing the boar into the piggery. We'll bring the gilt out of the piggery, probably in the house when it's got a roof on. There's going to be nothing in there, and we'll make a temporary pen and leave the pig in there with the boar until the job's done. He might leave it overnight, I don't know. Or he might lead it in, put it to the pig, and once it's done, take him away again. I don't know exactly how it works, you know. I'm not sure how much rest a boar needs after serving one pig, if there's 2 to serve at the same time. You need some rest. If you go one to the other, then the second one's the quality of sperm is going to be very low, I would imagine. But maybe not, I might be wrong.
I'm getting sleepy. Getting sleep here.
Yeah. Answer saying we mated one this week on the first cycle, so I would expect a small litter. The other 3 we've bred on the third cycle. So It's a small litter on the third cycle, I would have thought. But if it's his first litter, then you can't go off the first litter. For me, the first time farrowing pigs, I'd be happy with 6 piglets rather than 16 piglets. You know, there's a learning curve, and I don't want to be overwhelmed with piglets.
You want a Coke?
Yeah. So I'll leave it there. It's been an hour and 45 minutes.
I was planning to give you a Coke, then you're gonna end it now?
Yeah, I'll have a drink of Coke and I'll make a video for today, what's been going on this morning.
So that's it.
So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again. Smile, Jane. Somebody wanted a smile. There you go. Oh, expat bit in the John. All right, we'll see you all later. To half an hour.